What's one thing your partner doesn't know? That her mom called for her the moment before she died. When her mom was dying, she was in the room with her for almost 24 hours straight and left for 30 seconds, and I was there, and in those 30 seconds her mother died, but not before calling for my wife. I don't know if it will haunt her or not, but I just don't think it's something she needs to know. You go to the grave with that one. No doubt. She will beat herself up horribly. She suffers from depression, and when she hits a slump she feels like laying in bed and doing nothing. Even though 99% of the time just getting out of bed and doing something, anything will make a dramatic difference in her day. So usually when she hits a slump I'll manufacture some fake emergency that only she can help me solve. Like, hey babe, I think one of the cats has a scratch on his face, but he won't hold still for me to look. Of course, the cat is fine, but I just tricked her into getting out of bed and doing something. And that's always the hardest part. This honestly is the one that made me tear up. I have days like that all the time. And it's always that first movement, the first action of the day, that's the hardest to do. Sometimes I'm lucky and something happens to where I have to do a thing. Most of the time, no dice. Imagining someone doing that for me nearly made me cry. You are a wonderful and caring person. Even if she realizes what you're doing or even knows, just know those small things mean the world to her. That I have a folder of photos on my computer called Places I Have Found My Wife's Shoes that is legitimately filled with thousands of pictures of my wife's shoes that are either in the closet or shoe rack. I started it years ago as a joke and it has gotten out of hand. This is hilarious, and I also have a folder of my husband doing projects around the house. They are all with his back to me because he refuses to bend to my will, and I have just learned to be sneaky about being proud of him, and now I hoard all my love to myself. Serves him right. How incredible would it be if it turns out you two are married to each other? Nothing. She reads my Reddit comments all the time. Don't you? F her. Yeah, got me there, Reddit. This was a joke, Imajude. When we were dating she tickled my feet and I acted as if I wasn't ticklish. 13 years later she will tickle them and be amazed I'm not ticklish. Every time it tickles, I have to hide this forever. Yes, I'm trapped within this hell also. Dormammu. I've come to tickle. This quote works so well. I'm happy with how wholesome this thread turned out. I thought it was gonna be filled with some darker secrets. My wife is the biggest softie for animals, and we have birds that nest right in a column on our porch. One day a baby bird fell out and she saw, well, it ended up dying. But I buried it and told her that I saw the mama bird come down and get it. It made her day so much better that I haven't had the heart to tell her it died and probably never will. I also distract her whenever I see roadkill coming up, or tell her it was just a plastic bag or something. My boyfriend does the same thing for me. I know that he's not necessarily telling the truth when he does it, but it still makes me feel better. I don't know if I feel better because I can pretend, or because I know that my boyfriend cares enough to try and protect me from the information he knows hurts me. Either way, good job. I'm sure your wife appreciates the hell out of you. I never really thought of it this way. I appreciate the insight, because I always felt like she probably knew in the back of her mind. Very early in the relationship, after the second date, his monitor broke right on Sunday. I knew he was an avid gamer, so I quickly bought a 27-foot monitor on eBay and told him I had that laying around. While he was on the way to me, I power walked through half the town to get it and quickly changed clothes because it was drizzling. He had low income and no money, and I didn't want him to feel like he's in my debt. We're over 2 years together now. Hey, just wanted to say this is beautiful and you have a very lucky partner. How to shut a drawer at less than 126 miles per hour. Mine doesn't know how to shut a drawer at all. Whenever we get fast food to go, she enjoys eating the extra fries which have fallen out of their carriage and into the bag. I'm not really sure why she enjoys them so much, but whenever there aren't any, I drop a few down when grabbing my fries secretly and then give her the bag. It's been 8 years, haha. I always grab my fries last and she's never noticed. Holy cow. After all of these comments, I'm definitely getting a burger and fries tonight. Bag fries are the best. I went on a field trip once and we stopped at McDonald's for lunch. One kid ordered 2 large fries to go and asked for extra salt. He removed the fries from the bag, dumped them back into the bag, added salt, then shook it up. That was his entire lunch. Bag fries. When we watch movies together we always snack. One of our favorites to munch on during the movie are the Sour Punch bites. She takes all the blue ones because I don't like them and they are her favorite. Always says how lucky she is that worked out like that. The blue ones are also my favorite, but she can have them. Just an FYI, they make bags with only blue ones inside. Just order or get those by accident and deal with it, then at the end decide you like blue too. Off scot-free and can get all blue bags all the time. Lord's work. He doesn't know just how excited I get when he gets home. I just love being around him. The dogs can hear the garage door open better than I can, so I use them as a sort of notification that he's here, but he also doesn't know how to shut the effing kitchen cabinets. The number of times I've almost brained myself because I stood up and the corner of a door was right above my head is absurd. My wife can't close anything and it's hilariously upsetting. Like it doesn't really matter, but eternally looks like a ghost from Sixth Sense is haunting our house and drives me nuts. It's anything with a screw top with my wife. Bottles, jars, whatever it is. She can never close the lid. The number of times I've almost spilled something everywhere because the lid wasn't secured drives me nuts. That I know our daughter's Reddit account and that I check in on her regularly. I feel deep, profound guilt about following her. Because while I respect her privacy, I know that she has significant physical and emotional issues. She's at college out of state and battles with clinical depression and an unusual and incurable chronic illness. And she really tries not to let onto the world when she's going through a rough patch. She'll make a comment or post something that lets me know that she's feeling crushed or broken. And I'll coincidentally reach out to her the next day and give her an opening to talk about anything that's bothering her. Most of the time it works and she'll vent for a while and feel a little better. Some of the time we just trade pictures of cats. Either way, she knows that she's loved and that someone is thinking of her. If I told my wife about this, she'd blow the whole thing up and like a bull in a china shop she'd make it pretty clear that she knew our daughter's account and immediately interject herself into our daughter's life so she could fix everything. I understand that. Because my wife is brilliant and protective and only sees the world in black and white. But I also understand that my daughter has to fix her own life and that she's doing it every day. But that it doesn't hurt to have someone text her out of the blue and tell her a dad joke and try and make her laugh while she's doing it. I wrestle with the idea that I'm simultaneously a bad parent and a bad husband because of this. I've been married for almost 30 years. And this is the only thing I've ever kept from my wife. I hate it, but it's a hole I dug for myself. So I have to sit in it alone. You don't sound like a bad parent or a bad husband to me. Nothing is that black and white. We do some things right and some things wrong. But neither of those things equate to us being good or bad. Life is complicated and dirty and beautiful all at the same time. Just keep trying and things will end up the way they were supposed to, eventually. Our cat has a health insurance policy. Is it because your cat also likes lasagna and hates Mondays? Till I'm a cat. That I'm proposing this Saturday. Y'all better not tell. Edit. Thank you all for your wishes. I will keep everyone posted. My boyfriend proposed to me this past weekend. I hope your proposal goes well too. Edit. I mean my fiancé. This is obviously still new to me. Fiancé. It's still just so fresh I keep forgetting lol. If he's out of town, I go completely feral for the first 1 or 2 days. Candy for breakfast. Falling asleep in the couch. Beer with dinner on a weekday. Clothes on the floor. Recycling bag overflowing, then I shape up. When he comes back everything's back to normal. But man does it feel good to be a sloppy pig sometimes. Yup. First I clean the house really well. Then I pig it up with my piggy little mess. Then I clean it again before he comes home. In the meantime I'm binging all of the trash TV, hair and face masks, crackers and cheese for dinner, boxes of wine, tequila, weed inside, Zero Pants The Bachelorette works. He's not even controlling at all or particularly clean. It's just fun. Reminds me of when my parents would leave for a weekend when I was a teenager. I'm a stay-at-home spouse and do the same thing whenever my wife is gone for 4 or more days. Day 1. Clean the house and then buy a few racks of pork ribs and a bunch of broccoli. Stay up until 3 AM drinking whiskey, slow cooking the ribs, and making a bucket of broccoli slaw. That's my dinners for the week. Day 2. No pants. Breakfast weed. History or music documentaries. Put a dining room chair right next to the turntable so I can listen to records on headphones while playing video games. Ribs and broccoli slaw for dinner. Feed the cat deli turkey so he thinks I'm the fun parent. Day 3. Do 2 preliminary chores so I won't have to do everything last minute to return the apartment to living order. More records and video games and general sloppiness. Tequila at sushi instead of ribs and slaw for dinner. Masturbate in the living room just because I can. Day 4. Oh, she's coming back tomorrow. Vacuum and laundry. Address the surprisingly large dish pile. Take out the trash. Put the decorative pillows back in their place. Make sure the only evidence of my deviancy is the 3 ribs that I set aside for my wife on day 1.